I am Slick Nick. Welcome back to another video where I'm going to talk more about what I eat because that's interesting, that's fascinating. I myself love to watch on YouTube men's health, and they have those gym and fridge videos. I love those. I'm fascinated by those. And even for me, my own meal plan has evolved largely due to things I've learned from watching those videos. So I've just recently shot like a 12-minute video breaking down what all I eat in a day. Well, this is sort of a mini version of that where I want to say, hey, epiphany, pretty much everything I eat is ultimately a supplement of either protein or fiber. So check out that video if you want, the 12-minute video where I break everything down in the day. But let's just kind of do a highlighted version of what I'm eating and how it's ultimately a supplement to either protein or fiber. So coming from a background of counting macros, where it's all about protein, fat, and carbs, I've made it even simpler for myself. It's either protein or it's fiber. So it's not that I don't eat carbs, it's that the carbs that I do eat, I'm just looking at the fiber content, and if the fiber is not high enough, I don't eat it. If it's not going toward my bank of either fiber or protein and hitting the numbers I need to hit, then I'm not going to eat it. So for the most part, the outsider would say, oh, so you don't eat carbs. Most people would say that after I explain this. So here we go. So as I had mentioned, as far as actual what I'm consuming today, I start out my morning with some coffee and I put collagen peptides in here. This is not complete protein. It does help build muscle and recovery, but it's not going to be the type of complete protein that I'm actually counting. As far as me weighing about 156 or 157 pounds, I'm averaging about 159 grams of complete protein a day. Well, I'm doing a total of 20 grams of this. That doesn't count towards that goal, but it's more of ultimately a supplement to help build the muscle, even though it's not the necessarily protein itself that's going to build the muscle. It's more of the supplement to build the muscle from the protein that I'm eating in addition to what I'm doing at the gym. So I've got 2 servings of this a day, my 2 cups of coffee a day. And then the next thing I'm eating after my workout is, well, not to mention, with the coffee, I have a teaspoon of MCT oil, which is ultimately a brain supplement. It's brain food. So I'm having that with the coffee. Then when I get back from the gym and my walk, then it's 30 grams of protein. You could say this is a protein supplement because it's pretty much just pure protein, 30 grams right here with the tuna. And not to mention, I put hot sauce in there, which is known to apparently speed up your metabolism a little bit. I lived in Thailand 2 summers. I know that everybody eats spicy food over there and everyone's thin. There's a connection there. So I'm big into spicy food. So I've got all my hot sauces that I'm always using throughout the day on all my food. But with the tuna, I also have kimchi. I was in Korea for a little bit as well. And this is a probiotic. So for me, it's not about just feeding my appetite and feeding my brain with pure fat, but also feeding my gut, making sure, and that's where fiber comes into play, where I'm making sure that everything's taken care of in my gut so that I'm overall healthy, not just simply fit or slim or whatever. So, and this is, of course, as you see, is spicy. So I do that. Later in the day, with my official dinner, I have actually a half a cup of sauerkraut. I love sauerkraut. I love fermented cabbage, apparently. So those are supplements for probiotics for the gut. I've got my probiotics I've got my supplements for the brain. And of course, again, the protein is the supplement for my actual muscle mass as I'm in the body recomposition agenda here to cut body fat and gain muscle. So more protein. For my lunch, I had mentioned I have 4 eggs, whole eggs, not white, a whole egg. Again, I'm former keto, or am I still keto? I'm not afraid of fat, but I'm counting calories. So for example, when I have my Greek yogurt, I actually have switched over to fat-free just because the calories are only 100, but the 18 grams of protein, I do 3 of these a day. So that's a great way to pack in some protein, which arguably you could say, isn't that just whey protein that's yogurt? Yeah, arguably so it is. And you could arguably say the same thing about most days, unless I have some kind of meat for dinner. Usually I do this instead. I like this better than meat, honestly. That's how I feel. But I do full fat on the cottage cheese. It's 110 grams and 13 grams, 110 calories and 13 grams of protein, but I double it. I do a cup, so I do 220 calories and 26 grams of protein, which is equal to a serving of meat, salmon, chicken, whatever it is. It's gonna pretty much be in that same range for this. So you could say, well, yeah, this is all like basically whey protein supplements. You get it in the form of cottage cheese, you get it in the form of the yogurt, and then for my third yogurt serving of the day, that one, right before I go to bed, I'll put in a serving of this. This is the only time I actually truly have whey proteins. This is 100 calories and 25 grams of protein. And I'll mix that in with the yogurt. So you do the math, there's 25 plus 18, so 42, I'm really bad at math. But yeah, it's a good amount of protein right before I go to bed. I mean, so yeah, when you narrow it down, what you see is the opposite of empty calories. Empty calories means probably a high number of calories and a very low amount of complete protein or fiber. That's typically what empty calories are. You can think about pizza, mainly carbs. And you can think about a burger. Okay, even though you have the protein in the meat, you're probably also going to have a bunch of processed bread in there too. So then it's high calories, but so what I've done is I've just flipped that. I thought I want to do the complete opposite of that. I want to have a meal plan where everything is counting for something good and really there's no fluff in there. And if I had more room for more calories, I would probably find a way to put in more fiber or more protein. So ultimately with my meal plan, what I'm doing is somewhere between 1,700 and 1,900 calories a day. Often it's closer to 1,700, depending on, if I stick with just the cottage cheese for dinner, I can easily just keep it 1,700. It's that when I venture into other types of meats that it may be a little bit over that. But the main thing is, what I'm having for dinner is gonna need to have an average of at least 25 grams of protein. But also, I'm averaging at least 30 grams of fiber. Some of the highest fiber I have frozen raspberries that I'll have at least once a day with my yogurt. That's 8 grams of fiber. That's amazing. That's a very high source of fiber. So definitely, I'm probably getting to the point where eventually I'm gonna have 2 servings of raspberries a day, because it's like you get a cup of frozen raspberries, it's 60 calories and 8 grams of fiber. So basically I'm going through my freezer, and as I'm going through all the types of frozen fruit, I'm finding that raspberries is pretty much the way to go. And I do love having a banana every day too. Even though it's only 3 grams of fiber and it is 110 calories for that banana, it definitely helps me in the recovery. It helps me feel full, and it somehow makes me feel good. There must be some kind of brain connection there too. So there you go. I've come to the point where I feel, and I will always evolve, I will always change my meal plan, I'll always change whatever my label was, you know, whether it was keto or vegan or vegetarian or kosher, whatever it was, and it's been all of those things. But I feel like this is really helping me reach my goal, and I love it. Your comments belong right here.